Okay, Jeremy. I'm calling the August 4th, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of Education to order per Government Code Sections 54950 et sequitur and Education Code Section 35140 et sequitur at the District Education Center, 1301 East Orange Shore Avenue, Placentia at 532. Okay, we're going to go to closed session. Comments at this time are limited to closed session items. I don't see anybody in the audience, so we're going to skip over public comment. And we're going to adjourn to closed session for the purpose of discussing the following matters. 3-A, public employment, discipline, dismissal, suspensions, release, leave, assignment, non-reelection, non-reappointment, resignation, reinstatement, pursuant to Government Code Sections 54957. 3B, conference with labor negotiators, Dr. Kim LeBlanc Esparza, Superintendent, Dr. Candace Perez, Deputy Superintendent, Dr. John Papalardo, Chief Business Officer, Chad McGow, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources for CSEA, Apple, and Plum. 3C, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 of subdivision of sections 54956.9, one case. We have nobody wishing to speak at this time, and we're going to adjourn at 5:33 to close session. All right. Good evening, everyone. We're going to reconvene to regular session at 6:39 p.m. And we have nothing to report out of closed session. So now, if you'll stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Right, let the record show that all board members are present tonight. That'll move us to approval of agenda. I need a motion to approve the August 4th, 2026 Board of Agenda agenda as amended.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Frazier, second by Mrs. Anderson. Any comments? Okay, with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, that takes us to our public comment. A public comment announcement. There are public comment cards available in the foyer. Cards must be completed and turned in prior to the designated time for public comment. We provide a maximum of 3 minutes per person, and if translation is needed, we'll provide an extra 3 minutes. It's best if you know that, if we can know that ahead of time so that we can prepare if needed. We have a civility policy. Education Code 220 prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability, gender, gender identity, gender expression, nationality, race or ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or any other characteristic that is contained in the definition of hate crimes set forth in Section 422.55 of the Penal Code, including immigration status. Additionally, if there are any disruptions or interference of the board's ability to conduct its meeting, the disruptive parties will be given one warning. If the disruption continues, you will be informed that the board president has found you disruptive in violation of Penal Code Section 403, Education Code Sections 32210, and the board president will order you removed from the meeting under Government Code Sections 54957.9, 54957.95. If removing one or several disruptive parties does not restore order, the board president will exercise their authority to clear the room in accordance with Government Code Sections 54957.9. And that brings us to recognitions. And Dr. Kim, I'll turn it over to you to address the item.
Thank you, President Buck. I'm going to start out by introducing our El Dorado High School choir, if they would join us. So as they are joining us, I will give a little bit of an introduction. Even though it's summer break, our students have not stopped their learning. Over the summer, El Dorado High School hosted its junior high choir camp, bringing together students in grades 6 through 9 for several days of music making, learning, and connection. Campers had the opportunity to develop their vocal skills, explore new choral techniques, build friendships through team-building activities, and experience the joy of making music together. Tonight, current and former members of the Advance Ensemble are excited to share a special performance of Thank You for the Music by ABBA, featured in the movie Mamma Mia. Thank you all. It's my favorite. Please join me in welcoming El Dorado High School. Thank you, El Dorado Choir. Our board would like to thank you for being here, and we have a pin for you, so don't leave yet. Hang on just a second.
Can we give them another round of applause before they leave? Coming out in the summer, so thank you so much for coming and entertaining us. All right, so that brings us to our superintendent report, so I'll pass it to you, Dr. Kim.
Thank you, President Buck. Good evening again, trustees and executive cabinet members. Over the summer, our district leadership met with the cities of Placentia and Yorba Linda and the Orange County Sheriff's Department and Placentia Police Department to strengthen our shared efforts around e-bike safety. Together, we've identified opportunities to provide families with information during our registration and back-to-school events, with a follow-up meeting planned for September to evaluate our outreach and to determine next steps so that we can continue working together. As part of those conversations and a few others, we've also talked about the California Highway Patrol's Every 15 Minutes program, which raised awareness about impaired and distracted driving through a dramatic simulation. During the 25-26 school year, as we reviewed the planning timeline, district staff determined that there wasn't enough time at the moment to provide families with advanced communication or the opportunity to make an informed decision about participation. Given the emotional nature of the program, the recent tragic events that have impacted our community, and the cautions that had come from national organizations in behavioral and mental health just for experiences like this one for some students, we believe that it was important to pause rather than move forward so that we could have adequate preparation. For families who choose this experience for their students, we support them. And for those who do not want their child to participate in this experience, we support them as well. Our goal is to ensure that any program of this nature is thoughtfully planned, communicated well in advance, and provides parents with the opportunity to decide whether participation is appropriate for their child. The district will remain committed to promoting safe decision-making for our students, and we will continue to partner with our law enforcement and city official colleagues to identify educational opportunities that are informative, age-appropriate, and responsiveness to the needs of our school community. My apologies if this caused confusion for anyone. We were really looking at the opportunity to give our parents the choices for their child's educational experience. Summer meals. This summer, the nutrition services served approximately 15,000 meals across 7 district and community locations, helping to ensure students continue to have access to healthy meals while school is out of session. One of this year's highlights is the district's continued partnership with the Placentia Library District through its Lunch at the Library program. For 8 Fridays during the summer, children and teens aged 18 and under enjoyed free lunches alongside educational activities and crafts. The program has welcomed approximately 100 participants each Friday throughout the summer. Transportation. Our transportation department has remained busy throughout the summer supporting student learning and specialized programs. On a typical summer day, 40 buses transport an average of 608 special needs students over 1,872 miles, along with 56 adult transition students traveling approximately 125 miles each day. Between June 12th and July 21st, the department also completed 67 field trips covering an additional 2,476 miles to support educational experiences for our students throughout the district. I'll also add our maintenance and facilities team have had another productive summer preparing campuses for the new year. Major projects include new transitional kindergarten restroom facilities at Fairmont and Golden Elementary Schools, accessibility improvements at Travis Ranch, replacement of the synthetic turf field at El Dorado High School and Bradford Stadium, a new track at Yorba Linda High School, an ongoing gymnasium and kitchen modernization project at Valencia High School. Now that summer school and camps have concluded, custodial and maintenance teams are focused on final preparations to ensure every campus is clean, safe and ready to welcome students and staff back for the first day of school. We're grateful to our maintenance, facilities, and custodial and transportation teams whose behind-the-scenes work help create safe, welcoming, and well-maintained learning environments for our students and our staff. And as we prepare for the 26-27 school year, we welcome principals and district leaders back on July 23rd and 24th for our annual leadership launch. Centered on the PYL Promise, our new strategic plan, the two-day event focused on 3 guiding principles: rooted in connection, ready for tomorrow, and stronger together, and how they will guide our leadership, decision-making, and service to students throughout the year. Thank you, President Buck, Vice President Quintero, and Ms. Anderson for joining us on day 1. We celebrated employee milestones, welcomed new leaders, reflected on what we heard through the strategic plan process, and explored understanding who Generation Alpha is, our data, and our leadership practices that empower teams to do their best work. Thank you also, Mr. Frazier. You joined us on day 2, where school teams examined how to navigate creative tension as a catalyst for meaningful change and collaborated on plans to welcome staff back and prepare for a successful school year. We even got to talk a little data. It was an energizing start to the year, and our leadership teams are excited to welcome students and staff back next week. Last year, we received more than 150 applicants from middle and high school students interested in serving on the Superintendent's PYL Student Leadership Board. After a thoughtful selection process, 20 students were chosen to meet monthly with district leaders throughout the year to share their perspectives and help shape the future of our schools. Our students are at the center of our decisions, and their voices are an important part of that work. Building on that commitment, we'll also be launching community advisory committees this fall. These committees will provide parents and guardians with a regular opportunity to learn about district initiatives, share feedback, and help inform future planning. The committees will meet in person every other month, and applications will be shared with families in late August. Finally, I'm excited to welcome our educators, school staff, and our students back next week. My team and I will be visiting schools throughout the district to welcome everyone personally. We love the energy with the start of a new school year. And here's hoping that 26-27 school year is our best one yet. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. That was great. All right, now that brings us to public comment. So public comment is an opportunity for the public to provide input to the Board of Education. During the public comment period, board members do not dialogue with speakers or make comments regarding the information that's shared. And tonight we have 15 speakers. And so that will give us 2 minutes each. So Jeremy, if you could set us up for... Oh, no. Okay. I think we'd just go ahead and keep going. And then please keep working on that. Okay, so people aren't hearing. Is this still recording? Will they be able to watch it later? Not be audio then. Okay. Well, I think we go ahead and proceed because it's our board meeting and we listen, and then it will be reported in our minutes. Unless there's a. I hate to wait. Jeremy, it went down at the beginning, so 20 minutes ago?
I don't know if it's ever been on since we started.
Okay.
It's my assumption.
Is there a way, do we have a device that we could record where we could use minutes to be able to connect it later? Okay. Yeah, that, if we record at least, if we used a phone, that way we could at least put some minutes together, would there at least be that capability?
We could pause for 3 minutes and see what happens. What they can figure it out.
If we give them about 5 minutes to try to figure out if they can record something, and that way we at least have minutes to be able to capture that and put that out as a transcript, does that seem reasonable?
That works.
Okay.
Just let us know when you're ready, Jeremy. I could do that while we're waiting.
The vendors confirmed that actually the recording is not streaming.
Okay,
So we will have
so that's good news. So it's recording but not streaming, so it will be available later. Okay, that's good news. Okay, so I'm going to call up the first 4 speakers, and we have the front row here, so you can sit there and ready as we go. So the first one will be Chip Fuller, then Mike Fox, Noah Greenberg, and Jesselyn Lee. So we'll start there, and then I'll call up the next 4. And we can start with Chip. And when you come up to the podium, if you'll just repeat your name, and then you can make your comments.
All right. Placentia-Yorba Unified School District, school board members, Dr. Kim, thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Chip Fuller. I'm the former head coach for the girls soccer program at Yorba High School. I was released from my duties as coach after an investigation of 3 allegations made by a cabal of disgruntled parents. Sadly, the parent ringleader was our program's booster club president, Stephen Hirth, who has a long history of complaining about playing time. Yes, it sounds pretty petty thing to be complaining about, and it is, which is why one must disguise their true motive by conjuring up a nefarious charge. For example, the 23 villainous accusations leveled against me in the cabal's Get Rid of the Coach petition that was sent out over the internet in mid-January by the Booster Club president's wife. When the petition failed to achieve its desired goal, they took the petition along with 2 new charges, one being the mishandling of funds for a trip the varsity team took to Hawaii in December. I still can't imagine why this allegation wasn't included in their January petition, but it was not. I focused on other things that were the more important. The Hawaii trip was the inspiration of a man you're going to hear from, Mike Fox, who volunteered to lead this colossal undertaking of organizing the trip's finances. I had no concerns with Mike leading this endeavor, as his honesty I found to be above reproach. And what I was focused on was complying with the district's 37 administrative regulations for extended field trips. The second new allegation was related to a recruiting violation.
Thank you, sir. That's
Yep.
the end of your 2 minutes.
Oh, was that 2 minutes?
2 minutes, yep.
Was that really?
Yep.
Okay.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Fox, you're next.
Talk fast.
Speak fast.
Hello, board. I'll talk fast. My name's Mike Fox. I worked for the Los Angeles Dodgers for 10 years. I was around with the baseball players and played myself a little bit. These girls are amazing athletes. The 3 stand up. They're playing in college. Stand up real quick. They're amazing. Now you think about three girls here are going to play in college from just one high school. That's amazing. It doesn't happen. You know how many girls play in college? 3%. So good. Thank you, girls. So I wanted to do something for the coach and for the girls to take them to Hawaii. I raised $15,000. All the girls got scholarships. And then at the last minute, the president of the Booster Club said he wants money to go through him for things that were not mandatory. So I met with EAD, and he says, Mike, let's try to do that. but the booster president would never call me back. I wrote emails to him. Finally, I met with the AD and the principal at Yorba Linda and said, what can we do? And they said, go ahead and put it on your credit card. I'm sorry. Put it on your credit card. That's what I did 3 days before the trip. I put for these expenses for voluntary things like dinners and show tickets and so forth, I put on my credit card to make sure the girls had the food and so forth. All the receipts are in there, copy in there, but the directive came from the principal and the AD to put those expenses on my credit card. By the way, the booster president came on the trip, so I don't know why he didn't put that. Thank you very much. All that information is in front of you, okay? Thank you so much.
Hello. I just want to thank you all for listening to our comments. My name is Noah Greenberg, and I am one of the assistant coaches at the Yorba Linda High School program under Chip Fuller. To my great surprise, an investigation has occurred into some of the allegations against Coach Fuller without my knowing. As the assistant coach and one of the people who was at every single practice and just about everything we did, I was never questioned once about this investigation. No one reached out to me, and no one wanted to hear our side of the story. This is very surprising because, according to the California Department of Education and PYL-USD policy, in order for an investigation to be considered thorough, both the accuser and accused and any relevant witnesses must be given equal opportunity to present relevant information, details, and context concerning the claims. And from my perspective, who better to ask than someone who was there for everything and someone who was directly under Chip Fuller during my time there. Therefore, I believe that this investigation needs to be called into question. I don't have time to address all of the claims, but I did want to address one, this being that there was a safe word that was created and given to the girls in order to control inappropriate conduct or anger. This was not at all the case, and it was actually twisted in order to mean something different. This word was given to players who at times maybe would have difficulty coming to us and expressing themselves, and so we wanted to give them an opportunity during practice to be able to express themselves without conversing with us, which maybe they were awkward or shy or didn't want to do so, and so we gave them one word to be able to say. We told them this in a group setting with all of them present, which would make no sense if it was to restrict inappropriate conduct from the coaching staff. Obviously, it ended up becoming a joke amongst the girls as we are talking about teenagers, and that makes total sense. But I would encourage the board to consider how this investigation... Thank you.
Okay, after Jesselyn, we're going to have Belle Silverson. So, sorry if I said that wrong. Dida Jasmine, Chloe Fox, and Brooke Boyd, if you'll be up next. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hello, board. Thank you for being here. My name is Jesselyn Lee, and I was a player on the Yorba Linda women's varsity soccer team this past season. I'm speaking on behalf of the recent incident concerning Coach Chip Fuller and the misinterpretation of the word anchor that has been spread. I was present on the day Coach Chip introduced that word to our team. He gathered us together in the team room before training and explained it to us clearly. Anchor was a signal that a player could use if she felt uncomfortable being corrected loudly in front of everyone during practice. Coaching 26 athletes across a large field requires Coach Chip to protect his voice, which is simply the reality of training at a high level. The word was created out of consideration for us, not out of any need to manage anger. There is nothing secretive, threatening, or inappropriate about that moment. To me personally, Anchor represented Coach Chip's genuine effort to connect with us as people and not just athletes. Part of coaching is instructing your players, and unlike coaches who simply yell and expect you to push through it, Coach Chip wanted a way for us to communicate our needs to him. He couldn't read our minds, so this was his way of bridging that gap. I have been a competitive soccer player for 13 years of my life, and that was since I was 5 years old. And in that time, I have played under many coaches. I can honestly say that the majority of them never considered a player's feelings at all. They berate you and tell you to just deal with it. That is simply accepted as a part of the sport. Coach Chip was different. He understood that good coaching doesn't mean sugarcoating everything, as players need to be pushed and corrected. But he also understood that players are human beings with feelings, and that a coach who acknowledges that will get more out of his team, and not less. In all my years of playing, I have never had a coach who took the time to create something like anger. To me, that word was not a sign of a coach with an anger problem. It was the sign of a coach who genuinely cared about his players. Thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you for being here. My name is Belle Silvestri and I'm an incoming senior at Yorba High School. I played on varsity with Coach Chip for the past 2 years. Last year I was a captain for the team and I learned a lot throughout the season. I'm a very observant person and I tend to notice a lot, even the little things. Something about Coach Chip I've noticed is how much time and effort he puts into every single one of us, and I mean that, every single person. He's one of the most loving people I have ever met, and he shows up for us constantly. Never would he even think about disrespecting one of us, and even more so, he would never act inappropriately or threaten any of us in any way. In regards to the safe word, this was taken completely out of context. In no way was this an instruction. No way was this instruction a way to protect the team from any physical or mental harm. It was simply a way for Coach to hold himself accountable when he became too competitive or intense in his coaching styles. Players took this word to their parents and totally twisted the purpose behind it. I do understand how this might look from an outside perspective. However, I'm here to tell you that it's wrong. Throughout this whole process, Coach Chip has been painted as a bad person and has been treated so wrong. He's put an insane amount of time and effort into fighting for his job, and you're not going to find that in any other coach. Chip, Leah, Griffin, and Noah all deserve this job, and the program will not be the same without them. They have taken us so far on and off the field. I mean, both years they were there, we won league. My life has been strongly impacted by Coach Chip, and I know a lot of the girls can agree with me. I'm afraid that the loss of Coach will deeply affect the program and ultimately cause us to be less successful. Please take my words into consideration because they come directly from my heart. Thank you for your time.
Hi everyone, my name is Dita Jasmine. I have played in the Yorba girls soccer program for 2 years now, and I intend to speak about the accusation that Coach Fuller recruited for his Slammers club team. During the summer heading into my sophomore year of high school, I had heard about Coach Fuller starting a Slammers club team and that YLHS girls were welcome to join. I had recently left my club team at the time, and since practices would be held at the school and since they were held directly after school, it was a convenient opportunity that also allowed me to continue developing as a player. I was never told that joining this club team would earn me a spot on the varsity team. In fact, despite playing for his club team, I was placed on the JV team the following season. The club team also included other players from several other schools, so it was not a team created to recruit YLHS players or guarantee positions within the school program. During my time with Coach Fuller, I've learned what it truly means to play the game of soccer. He pushed me to become a better player while also teaching me to trust myself and enjoy the process of improving. His coaching went far beyond just teaching skills and ball mastery and/or wanting to win. Based on my own experiences over the past 2 years, the allegations being made against Coach Fuller do not reflect the coach I've known. I have always been treated with respect, encouraged to grow, and supported both as a player and a person. That is why it is so difficult for me to connect my experiences with the claims that have been made. I believe the Yorba girls soccer program is stronger because of his leadership, and I hope future YLHS athletes have the opportunity to learn from him just as I have. Thank you for listening.
Okay, next, Chloe, and then Brooke, then Laura Lee, and Sam.
Hi everyone, my name is Chloe Fox. I've been playing for Chip Fuller's teams for the past 2 years while also playing for high school and club. My senior year has been really special and unforgettable. It taught me to enjoy every practice, every game, and every moment with my teammates as well as my coaches because it goes by so quickly. My favorite by far has to be the Hawaii trip. The friendships I built through this program are something that I will forever cherish because of these coaches. One thing I really appreciate was that playing for Coach Club's team didn't guarantee anyone a spot on the varsity team. Everyone had to earn their place through the tryouts, and selections were through based on scores we earned. It showed me hard work, preparation, and giving your best every day no matter what. Playing for club and high school soccer helped me grow in different ways. Club pushed me to be a stronger player, while high school gave me friendships, memories that I will always be thankful for. As I get ready for college, I am grateful for my family, coaches, and teammates who believed in me and supported me through the recruiting process. I am excited for what's next, and I'll always be thankful for everything that soccer has taught me, even through Coach Chip. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Brooke Boyd. I was a member of 3 varsity sports this past year, softball, cross country, and track and field. Today is a time to speak against comments made that led to the dismissal of Eric Robleski, the head coach of distance track and field at Yorba High School. However, before I get to that, I feel the need to further introduce myself in order to give a deeper perspective and paint a picture of the high school athletic experience that I respect and appreciate so much. This past year, I was honored to be recognized as the senior class female athlete of the year. When I received it during the senior awards night, I felt so privileged to be recognized for my athletic hard work. I've gained so much from sports, but I did have to make sacrifices for my success. In high school, maintaining a 4.4 GPA while balancing sports and school was a challenge. Outside of high school, I've been on club teams with bad coaches and teammates that have stripped my joy from the sport and made me lose the passion I once had from it. In other words, I understand the elements that make up a bad sporting experience. However, these challenges I've faced only ever became less when part of distance running under Coach Eric. On the topic of today's meeting, now with a little more information about myself, I would like to explain how I owe much of my success to my coaches, especially Coach Eric. On my athletic journey, he understood that I had softball and track in the same season, meaning there were many conflicting moments between the two sports. Because of the community that running had created my first 2 years, I didn't want to give it up, so I played softball and track in the same season. The first person to let me know that I was doing a good job with juggling practices and still keeping up in my strength and workouts was Coach Eric. He could have stopped me from doing both, or could have sidelined me from missing practice, but instead he became the person I would talk to when I was trying to figure out a schedule or needed to ask for an individual workout I could do on my own. Having a coach that doesn't put you down for something that might not necessarily be optimal is a gift, and I believe it is one of the reasons I was able to excel and become Athlete of the Year. Coach Eric is who I attribute to not only my success as a runner, but also to keeping me believing in myself. He raised my confidence in every aspect of life, not only as a runner. I am more thankful for the team and atmosphere that he created than I can even put into words for you today. I hope that with my statement and others, you can put together a picture of the positive leader, teacher, that Eric Robleski is. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lorelei Pohl. I'm incredibly blessed to be here before you today to give my point of view and represent Mr. Robleski, my coach and mentor after his dismissal. I recently graduated from Yorba High School after completing 4 years of track and cross country. To begin my first year in track, there was no coach. The program felt dull, lifeless, and it was hard to train in the off-season due to lack of leadership and goals. But the remaining 3 years of my high school were led by him, which changed my point of view on running forever. Before explaining myself, I'd like to quote part of my senior speech, which I gave as captain at the end of an incredible track season. We could not ask for a better leader. Because of your effort and dedication to us, running with all of our hearts became the most fulfilling thing in our lives. You taught us that working towards something bigger than ourselves is worth the sweat and tears. You taught us to trust in our training, to understand that you knew what was best, and to push ourselves to our limit. You showed us that these lofty goals we set for ourselves don't come from shortcuts or easy success. We reach them by pushing through challenges, improving little by little, and realizing our potential. The accusation that there is a misuse of conduct within the track program in relation to Coach Eric seems to be extremely exaggerated. His small, quote-unquote, taunting comments may be blown out of proportion, but his true intentions are clear as day. He is a steadfast coach who dedicates himself fully to his athletes by relaying the workouts that fully embody his mantra. Getting good results also requires smart planning, the right methods, and proper rest. In every aspect, whether it was on the track or off the track, his main focus was to uplift and encourage, not tear people down. Several days of running left me disheartened and upset, but a few words from him helped me remain steadfast, calm, and look for a new way to approach the situation. In my opinion, there is not a single person in this world that would do a better job coaching the Yorba track team. Coach Eric is incredible at attending to individuals. He is exceptional at recognizing that every athlete is different. For example, I was not a gifted athlete from the beginning. I was slower in the workouts, felt myself falling behind on runs, and took nothing out of running until him. My hopelessness in my own athletic career soon turned into hope. He takes his time to understand each individual's strengths, weaknesses, goals, and limits, and he adjusts his coaching accordingly. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Sam Mayovich, Jocelyn Williams, Leslie Alexander, Tommy Boyle. Well, two more after that.
My name is Sam Mayovich. While Superintendent Chernus's nearly 2-year tenure produced financial, legal, and programmatic devastation, its most lasting harm, enabled by trustees Frazier, Youngblood, and Blades, was the loss of a generation of educational leaders who had built the programs and learning communities that made PYL-USD a destination district over decades. With few exceptions, those leaders quickly secured comparable positions in other strong districts, demonstrating both their professional standing and the district's failure to retain them. Their mobility reflected three realities. They were highly regarded educational leaders. Many carried reference letters from Rick Lopez, whose endorsement commands respect among administrators everywhere, and neighboring districts understood that leaving a Chernus-run district was not a liability because Chernus himself lacks credibility across the region. Considering this mass exodus of educators from the district during the nearly 2 years of the Chernus disaster, it is astounding that in a recent editorial, Trustee Blades would blame Trustee Buck and Superintendent Kim for the, quote, flood of beloved teachers and administrators who are fleeing the district. Please, Trustee Blades, share with us the name of those beloved educators you reference. Make a list that not only provides the names, but also the number of years they worked in the district, the titles these educators relinquished, and the titles they accepted upon leaving. Here is just such a list of the outstanding educators who fled the district during the years of Chernus, Frazier, Youngblood, and Blades. Number 1, Tom Craig, 30 years, Coordinator of Student Services and Crisis Counselor, 30 years in the PYL-USD, deceased. We will not forget and we will not excuse the way Chernus treated Craig at the end of a lifetime of service to this district. Trustees Frazier, Youngblood, and Blades bear full responsibility for standing by and allowing it to happen. Number 2, Rick Lopez, 28 years, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, currently Assistant Superintendent in the Claremont Unified School District. Number 3, Brad Runge, 28 years, Director of Maintenance and Facilities, currently Director of Facilities for Lake Elsinore. Number 4, Greg Kemp, 28 years, Principal at Yorba Linda Middle School, currently Athletic and Activities Coordinator in the Orange Unified School District. Number 5.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Williams, and I will continue with the list of names. Continuing with number 5, Jamie Jout, 26 years of service, Principal at Buena Vista Virtual Academy. Number 6, Connor Drake, 26 years, Administrator in charge of secondary curriculum. Number 7, Carrie Walters, 25 years, Athletic Director at Esperanza High School. Number 8, Jeff Louie, 25 years, Assistant Principal at Valencia High School. Number 9, Richard McAlinden, 23 years, Assistant Superintendent of Executive Services. Currently retired, he already settled a civil suit against the district for $300,000 over Chernus's violation of his contractual rights and may receive further compensation for other violations against him perpetuated by Chernus. More wasted money, more failed leadership by Frazier, Youngblood, and Blades. Number 10, Missy Sampson, 21 years, Director of Student Services. Number 11, Julie Pack, 20 years, Glenview, Assistant Principal and former coach at Glenview's Dual Language Academy. Number 12, Matt Slikova, 20 years, Athletic Director at Esperanza High School. Number 13, Jane Rowe, 20 years, Principal at Glenview Elementary School. Number 14, Joey Davis, 18 years, Principal at El Dorado High School. Number 15, Scott Massere, 18 years, Principal at El Camino Real. Number 16, Jeff Smith, 15 years, Mabel Payne Elementary School Principal. Number 17, Linda Adamson, 11 years, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. Number 18, Leanne Swarm, 10 years, Assistant Principal at Esperanza High School. Number 19, David Giordano, 8 years, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services. And number 20, Alyssa Griffiths, 7 years, Director of Communications.
Leslie Alexander, I'm going to continue with number 21. Dina Felix, 6 years, Director of Business Services. Number 22, Richard Din, 6 years, Principal at Yorba Linda High School. Number 23, Jose Miranda, 3 years, Assistant Principal at Esperanza High School. Number 24, Paul Kim, 2 years, Assistant Principal at Yorba Linda Middle School. Number 25, Jeff Giles, 2 years, Principal at Esperanza High School. In other words, we lost at least one provably outstanding administrator for each of the 24 months of the catastrophic majority of trustees Frazier, Youngblood, and Blades. These outstanding educational leaders left the district due to the toxic environment of coercion, dishonesty, illegality that characterized the Chernus regime. Trustee Blades, a high number of resignations is concerning. In my own personal experience at work, I have found that when the people I respect, the people I trust, my mentors, when they are gone, it makes it so much easier to leave. Thank you.
The next three will be Tommy Boyle, Ben Stubbs, and Jeremy Kelly.
Hello, my name is Tommy Boyle, and I'm a recent 2026 graduate of Canyon High School, and I'm here to speak on what I believe to be the unjust firing of Yorba Linda track coach Eric Robleski. My relationship with Coach Eric is I volunteered alongside him at Quick Track Club for the last 4 years, as well as competing against the Yorba Linda XC team throughout my high school career. Because of that, I had the opportunity to see the type of coach and person he is from multiple perspectives. Given my experience with Coach Eric, I find that allegations against him to be extremely difficult to believe. His guidance as a coach, both helping me to be a better coach, as well as message to me as an athlete. He is the blueprint on ensuring to follow the rules. Even when I mentioned the idea of transferring due to personal reasons, he pushed back because he wanted me to do it, but what was best for me, even if it meant sacrificing more talent for his team. Also seen in the Quick Track Club entering freshman group, all going to their own respective high schools. It is such a shame and injustice that he was just fired with no care in the world for what he has truly done. Coach Eric is the exact so the allegations against him but his comments seem so far-fetched and rooted in hate. One moment has stayed with me ever since. It was my league finals championship race where I unfortunately did not qualify for my postseason. I immediately started to tear up and emotions took over. But who was the first person to console me? Coach Eric. I was not his athlete. And he came over and he made me realize even if you don't see your village every day, they exist. They live in your community, in the run clubs, at opposing schools, and on the track. And all of this, and I wasn't even his. I can only imagine the impact he has had on his own kids who exemplify the same standard he does. Coach Eric had no obligation to support me. He simply cared about another young runner in his community. That is the kind of coach I have always known him to be. And I can confidently say that many more high school and club runners would agree with me. Relieving him of this job not only deprives his team and the athletes who benefit daily from his mentorship, but is a blow to the entirety of the running community in Southern California. To all of the young and talented runners who will never feel his support the way I did, and to all the people who won't get to become like him the way I try to be, I apologize. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. I share with you tonight two enlarged images of actual stickers that were pre-selected by an adult in charge and handed directly to my 6-year-old kindergarten son at Glenview Elementary as a reward for finishing his classwork. Here's the real stickers, so you know they exist. So the first sticker is known as the queer duck, or the out and quacking pride duck. Now, I'm not just a dad making this stuff up. The University of Michigan professor Lawrence LaFountaine Stokes writes that about these images that his academic work represents symbols associated with nonconforming gender and sexual identities. That's what this sticker represents, and it was handed to my son. Totally unacceptable. The second sticker is a blasphemous mixing of modern ideological, social, sexual, political movement symbol with one of Christianity's holy symbols. This is not simply a be kind symbol. It represents a broader ideological, social, sexual, political agenda. And it is being introduced to our children in the classroom. Again, I'm not just some dad making this stuff up. LGBTQ plus advocates, scholars, and professors such as Dr. Patrick Cheng, Marcella Althus-Reed, and Robin Henderson, Dr. Robin Henderson Espinosa, have written extensively about reinterpreting Christianity through queer theology using symbols like these to dismantle traditional Christian doctrine. Totally unacceptable. So, during Glenview's last kindergarten PBIS principal party, teachers, staff, and volunteers wore Pride-themed T-shirts and jerseys celebrating Pride Month in the classroom in front of our kindergartens. This is happening. It's been happening. The district trustees Carrie Buck, Marilyn Anderson, and Quintero have been unapologetic about allowing it to continue. To every parent listening tonight, if you see something that concerns you like this, speak up. Don't be intimidated. Don't be afraid or being laughed at or being mocked or bullied into silence. Our children deserve parents who will advocate for them. Vote for Justin McGeary for school board, and Todd Frazier, elect him. Thank you.
So just a reminder, we're not allowed to have political speech. Okay, Jeremy Kelly, you're up next.
Thank you. Dr. Kim, Executive Cabinet, President Buck, and members of the board. My name is Jeremy Kelly, and I'm the president of the Association of Placentia-Yorba Educators. Well, we're back. Although many of them have been in their classrooms already, starting Monday, hundreds and hundreds of proud Placentia-Yorba teachers will be reporting to their campuses to kick off another school year in our district. As a teacher, it's always a time of excitement and anticipation, as well as a little trepidation, especially in the heat of mid-August. But nevertheless, veteran teachers will get together on that first day back and check in with their colleagues on how they spent their shortened summer breaks. New teachers will meet their fellow staff members, some of whom will become their closest friends and mentors as they make their way through their teaching career. There is not a better group of educators with which to do it. Teachers will work over the next 3 days to attend site trainings, get their classrooms ready, and prepare themselves to meet the young minds that will have the chance to infuse with both wonder and curiosity. It is no small thing to have the responsibility of educating the next generation, and it's one that we as teachers do not take lightly. The future of the world is in that classroom, and our teachers will do all they can to give them every chance and every opportunity to succeed. So to the students getting their pencils sharpened and their backpacks in order, we can't wait to meet you. To the families of those students worrying about how the most important people in their lives are going to fare this year, I hope you have peace. Our educators take our job seriously and know that there is no more important task than educating the future. To my fellow educators, you've got this. If you ever need a hand to help you up or a shoulder to lean on, your fellow teachers are there for you. May your site copy machines and classroom air conditioning always work, and may you have the most successful of years. Thank you very much.
All right, so that's the end of our public comment, and we aren't allowed to dialogue, but I just wanted to say, ladies, it takes a lot of guts to get up, no matter what you're doing, so I appreciate you coming and speaking. Okay, so that moves us now to our minutes, and I need a motion to approve the minutes of June 16th.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting of June 16th.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Quintero and a second by Mr. Frazier. Any comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Now the minutes for the special meeting of July 16th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of July 16, 2026.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Blades, second by Mrs. Anderson. Comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. And that now brings us to our consent calendar. Actions proposed for the consent calendar are items that are consistent with approved practices of the district and are deemed routine in nature. The trustees received board agenda backup information in advance of the scheduled meetings and are prepared to vote with knowledge of the block vote items. Does anybody have any to pull tonight?
I do. 14A, 16A, and 17B.
Anyone else? Okay, can I have a motion for the balance?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Anderson, second by Mr. Frazier. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay, that moves us to 14. Let's start with 14A.
Make a motion to approve the district membership in the California School Board Association Education Legal Alliance and Gamut for the 26-27 school year.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Okay, comments?
Yeah, I am going to vote against this, and I'm also asking that, Carrie, that you recuse yourself from this because in August of 2022, the CSBA released a video that you did on one of our school campuses, and nothing in your campaign for school board for that year or anything was shown that anything was logged, and I think it was highly inappropriate that the CSBA spent money to make a video for you and to promote you, and then you're bringing forward more and more contracts with the CSBA, so I think we have a conflict of interest.
Any other comments?
I'm going to be voting for CSBA. I think we get a lot of great assets out of it, besides the support as board members, but we also get legal and board policies, which we have plenty of to review, as we've been reviewing board policies that were done in the 70s, and I think it's, for the cost, it's well worth it. And, you know, this is a professional organization that supports school board members, so I'm for that.
All the more reason we should vote against it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of us being a part of CSBA, so.
Okay, well, the video that was taken was part of CSBA's board members in action, so there are a lot of them taken around, videos all around the state. It was voluntary to talk about CSBA, so that's not something that was part of my campaign. I am a delegate for Delegate Assembly for CSBA, and we've been members for CSBA, so there was nothing wrong with that video, even if you want to assume. Anyone else? Comments? Okay, with that, let's take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed?
No.
No.
Okay, so motion carries 3-2. All right, that moves us to 16A.
I'll make a motion to approve the 11 independent contractor agreements as listed in accordance with board policy number 4124, retention of consultants.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Blades, second by Mr. Frazier. Comments, please.
Yeah, so I just have a quick question. I know some people in the community have questions also. Is it called Bowman Consulting Group? Because I think it's spelled differently on the thing. We're paying $16,560, and the consulting group talks a lot about DEI and the whole child. Is that part of their consulting group? And I guess some of the thing is also it seems like we're paying a ton of consultants and we're not actually paying employees to do the work. And so I think that we need an explanation as to like what's happening, because there's a lot of moving parts.
Thank you for the question. So Bowman's Consulting, they are doing behavior classroom management strategies for our preschool staff and our previous RBTs who are now wellness specialists. We're on collaborative problem solving, nothing to do with anything related to DEI. It's about $2,000 a site that we're spending on this.
Okay. And so what do they do? Can you just explain it so people understand what they do at the school site so there's no misinformation floating around?
Mm-hmm. It'll be trainings here in the district office. So with our preschool educators and our previous RBTs or wellness coaches, learning about how we're going to work with behaviors that if you have a little kid with challenging and unexpected behaviors, how are you going to regulate that? How are you going to de-escalate them so that you can keep them in school?
Okay. Sounds good.
And those are open and available if you'd like to come watch.
I was going to say that we
Yes,
can
absolutely.
view those, right?
Yep.
Is that open to the community or just to us?
I think if folks expressed an interest and connected with us where we could do it without interrupting the training and the investment that we're making, I don't have a problem with people seeing what we're doing. I think we should be transparent, and certainly looking at the input that we got from our educators. One of the most challenging things that they have faced for the last 2 years has been dysregulation of behaviors and more outward behavior and difficulty in keeping kids focused and making good decisions in the moment. And so they asked for training like this to help them build their own toolkit and build their own strategies to be able to work with students to de-escalate, work with students to make good decisions, to help regulate their behaviors in a proactive way so that kids don't spin out, blow out. And as a grandmother of one who does that quite regularly, it's worth its weight in gold when our educators have the ability to work with kids and help them build their own resilience. So certainly if there are folks who are interested, please have them reach out to Dr. Perez or myself. We'd be happy to connect and see if we can figure out a way for people to see it so that they can support and see that it is something that our educators have asked for.
Yeah, well, I think it's absolutely critical that our educators have the tools that they need to be able to manage classrooms 100%. I think the concern is more of the content of what's being taught, and if that is a way that they can connect with you and say, I'd like to come see, that'd be great. If there's content we can share, that'd be great too. So I'd love that.
And then just in line with the rest of it, like with the strategic kids and early learner preschool, there was like $450,000 in early expanded learning for support staff. I think that and then the emerges as well, I think that what some of the employees in the district are saying is, like, instead of the consultations, can the employees have higher salaries, and can we be hiring more people instead of consultants? And so that was just something that was brought up to me, and I said I'm already pulling an item, so I will address this as well. And so, like, what would that look like? Because I think people are worrying that consultants are taking over our district instead of employees.
I appreciate that question. Honestly, we will work with our associations. We have both Apple and CSEA that we meet with regularly to have conversations around our numbers of those that we employ, of those vacancies that we have. Most of the consultants that you've seen, at least over the last couple of years, and I'll ask Chad to chime in if I say anything that is inaccurate, but the vacancies in hard-to-fill positions, when we've got IEPs where we have an obligation to meet the needs of a student, we have to have people to do that. And if we don't have staff members, we don't have the right ratios, we have too many kids in a process that we need to meet the special needs of specific students, we have to rely on consultants or on contracted employees to come in and help us meet those needs. So we'll continue to have conversations with our associations and make sure that we continue to talk about living wage and we continue to talk about competitive wages, because we want to recruit and retain quality staff. That's part of Stronger Together. In the strategic plan is recognizing that we want to keep our talent in PYL. And we recognize that when we have vacancies that we can't fill, we have to find ways to do that.
And I think it's important, too, that everyone knows when we're talking about these consultants that if we can't fill the positions, a lot of times we have to be within the law when we have to deal with special education, IEPs, all these positions. And so that's why we hire the consultants.
You are correct.
Thank you.
Can I just add, just made me think of, we have a teacher pathway, and these are opportunities that teachers in the future might have, and so just connecting it and explaining what are some opportunities that go unfilled that might pique somebody's interest, that go into the profession, and years down the line they'll come back and work for us, but might not even know that these positions exist or needed.
A lot of these vacancies have to do with serving our students who have special needs, but yes, there are pathways for that to happen, and those vacancies still exist.
It's going to take some time.
Thank you. I think that, I hope the sound's on. I mean, because that was why I asked these questions for clarification, but we'll see.
It's recorded, so hopefully
Well, and I think if it might be beneficial to send out a communication to say if you have interest in understanding what this is, that would be great.
When we talk about, in my comments earlier about community groups that will meet with me, my hope is that these are the kinds of topics that we'll have an opportunity to talk with, whether it's community members, parents, folks who express an interest and want to be part of those groups. The goal in that is to create a dialogue and to provide information when people have an interest. So it's a good point. Thank you.
And I think you said the word transparency, which I think is the whole point of bringing this up, to make sure that there's not something happening behind closed doors that parents are like, well, this isn't what I want my kid to be involved with, or I don't want my kid to be treated this way, or educators are like, I don't want to use these tools because it goes against whatever I want to do in my classroom, as long as it's within the rules. I'm not saying there's no carte blanche, people. That doesn't exist.
No, I appreciate you saying that. Funny, you make me go back to my principal days. I used to very regularly, because I ran a school that students came from all over the district, one of my mantras was, if you have a question, please ask. I will gladly engage in a conversation. Please ask. And we will sit down with you. We will make sense of things. We will show you, because we want our families to have confidence that the work that we're doing is serving their best interest and we're aligning to the core values of our community.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay.
Thank you for answering the questions.
All right. With that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. And that brings us to 17B.
Okay. Hold on, my iPad turned off for a minute. Okay. I'll make a motion to authorize the utilization of the Education Technology Joint Powers Authority, EdTech JPA master contract for the purchase of a 3-year license agreement between Placentia-Yorba Unified School District and Power School Group LLC for the period of August 26th through June 2029 for a human resources and substitute management system.
Second.
Okay, I'm pulling it only because of the high price tag. And so, Chad, if you could just explain to people what this is and what we're replacing it with and how this will be helpful.
Well, it's actually going to be a system because we don't currently have a formalized system for any HR processes to be able to support the schools and or ed services or fiscal services. Is it on? Should be.
He's just far away.
It's on. Oh, sorry, my apologies.
Speak up.
I will yell. No, so we currently don't have a whole lot of formalized processes. We have fractured processes, and so what we're really looking at is formalizing workflows from actually the recruitment all the way through the retirement. It's going to help us assign clear responsibilities within our department and then across departments. It's also going to automate notifications so people understand where they're at in the process. I think the nice thing is we can actually fly positions on multiple platforms that comes in-house, so that way we have more control over what that looks like. It's going to eliminate a lot of duplicate services that we do across departments, which will be nice because that eliminates some of the errors that, from clerical perspective. It's going to give us more reliable records, and then our approvals will be more automated and systematized, so we know where, kind of what's going on through the processes. I think from a district perspective, it really helps us be more efficient in operations across, not just in human resources, but sites and other departments. It helps us a lot with position control, gives us the opportunity to identify kind of what we're doing and where we're going, what positions we have that are hard to fill, what places are hard to fill, so that way in recruiting we can figure out what that looks like. Maybe we do site-specific recruiting fairs, things like that, but it'll give us more data so that we can more actionable decisions based on information. It also helps us with employee development because it's got the evaluation system that's built in, so we understand the tracking aspect of really kind of what that looks like. And then it's really consistent services across schools and sites, so that way we're consistent and it's not site dependent, so that way we're integrated all the way through. So those are some of the things that it's really going to support, but what it's really going to do is it's going to align us into a singular system, so that way we can be more responsive and supportive to our staff, our students, and our community.
Thank you.
I think the thing I like about it, when we've discussed it, the visibility is going to give you to be able to do your job more efficiently. So, in a sense, that what this does is it puts a system in place that didn't exist, that caused lots of headache and back and forth. And wait, I thought it was this. No, it's actually this. The organization and efficiency it's going to bring in, the visibility to you guys, and then the data that it's going to allow us to be able to utilize to maximize every position across the board, I think is going to be really important.
I like the fact that it's efficient, and then we are getting rid of things that we've been nickeled and dimed because we're piecing together all these things. And so when somebody asked about the high price tag, I said, no, this is going to be a great system, and it's a new thing, and the efficiency and good for employees and everybody. So I knew you'd be able to explain that on the fly because you've explained it to me several times. Right. So I'm just wanted everybody to be able to hear it because, everybody's looking at the money. And so they said, that's a lot of money. And I said, but it's worth it. So
I know what the point in that, too, is that we're a $400+ million organization, and we do so many processes by hand, or we did, as we got in here and recognizing the time and energy that people are having to connect positions to budgets, back to number of students, and that efficiency piece, you lose so much time and energy in that, and the ability to know exactly how many staff you need where and how you bring that together so that we can be sure that the budget is really aligned with what we believe it is and it's tied to staffing. And so I know that both John and Chad have worked very closely to figure out what is the just right system for us so that it serves us going forward in the future, and this is it. So thank you for that.
Of course. Thank you for explaining.
I just want to add, too, as we look at declining enrollment, and it's going to be incredibly important to make sure that we know who's where and how many people are in these locations and what classes we need at different spots and where are our gaps. I think that overall, because we're able to streamline this, we can maximize the cost savings there back into the classroom. So as we're looking at declining enrollment, it's not a guess. It's an actual science of where we're going to be moving things around. Thank you. Thanks for pulling that.
Yep.
All right, with that, let's take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Right. Now that brings us to our action item for Human Services. If I could have motion for 18A.
I'll make a motion to approve the reclassification MOU for CSEA Sector 293 and the Placentia-Yorba Unified School District.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Anderson, second by Mr. Frazier. Before we turn it over to Mr. McGow, Dr. Kim, do you have anything to say?
Just an appreciation for our CSEA partners in working through the reclassification of grounds positions, and Mr. McGow can talk to the specifics of that, but we know that this is another one of those processes that was taking more time than it typically would need to, and so the efficiency of that I appreciate greatly. Thank you.
Yeah, this also speaks to when we talk about contracted and outside services, this gave us an opportunity to be more responsive in the grounds, and so we really worked with the supervisor of grounds and CSEA to determine what we need to do so we can be more effective and efficient really in their current roles, and so identifying what we needed to do collectively to ensure that everybody had the opportunity to kind of delegate the same duties and responsibilities, so it wasn't dependent on who showed up and what could be done and what it was. Really gave us the opportunity to really come to consensus on what we want to do to better support the sites. And so I really do want to thank CSEA for leaning in the conversations that we had with business and facilities to identify what we could do better and more efficiently. Because it took us about 2 meetings to realize there were some things that we needed to change, and we were able to get to it rather quickly. And I think they were super appreciative, too, that this gives us the opportunity to eliminate some of those contracted services from outside vendors to be able to bring it in-house and provide more services internally.
All right. So any comments? Okay, with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So that brings us now, that's the end. We're to our board report. So, Todd, I'll pass it to you first.
Yeah. Well, as Dr. Kim mentioned at the top, I was able to attend day 2 of the Leadership Symposium, and it was really good to see that we are focusing on actual factual data, and that is where we're deriving our decisions and we are deriving our paths. One thing I was actually really impressed with was that we led it ourselves, and Kim and Candace were speaking to a room full of principals and administrators, and they really seemed to do a good job of communicating clearly. The reports that I was able to get a hold of were really insightful, and the data that we're using is really going to help us make good decisions for our students. There are things I think that truthful interpretation as much as possible, and the feedback that I got in our conversation was actually confirmation that we are going in a direction that I think is going to be very beneficial to the students, to the parents, and it will be very clear because we are going to have things like what we're putting in place for HR and the things that we have in place at the district level to be able to analyze what's actually happening as opposed to what people feel is happening. I think it's going to be a really good thing for the district as a whole, and I also think it's a really good way for us to be able to have transparency for us to know and then also to share with everyone in the district as well. So beyond that, I've been enjoying summer, and now here we come. So
I had to miss the fun, but I don't think that the 5-minute conversation that Dr. Kim, when she called and said, "Can we have a 5-minute conversation?" turned into the hour and a half, but that was okay. It was raining in Havasu that day, so I had a little time, and it wasn't suffocatingly hot on the patio, and so I did appreciate the conversation. I am interested in all the data and the efficiency that has been put in place because we had a lot of inefficiency, we had a lot of stuff that's going on, and so I'm really impressed with this team and what you guys have been doing, and just the like Todd was saying, the data that we're starting to see and actually looking at data, whereas before it's like I felt when I first got onto the board, a lot of it was feelings, and now we're actually starting to see some hard numbers and That's why I really wanted this thing, because it just shows what type of systems are being put in place, and it's starting to get organized, and things are starting to flow. Sometimes you would ask questions and nothing would ever come back to you, and when they did, it didn't make sense. Nobody knew where things were, and so now we're starting to see the alignment come through, and so it makes it easy. And I really appreciate too when I do have questions from the community and from employees and stuff, and I come to you guys and it's just answered right away. It makes sense. And so I do appreciate that, because I have been asking a ton of questions. I would like to see, one of the things that I also talked with Dr. Kim is the use of our fields. It's always been an issue since I started on the board in 2020. People paying, people not paying, people using fields. There's keys. I would like to see it locked down. I'd like to see consistency across the district, that there's no coach that has a key for his team and doesn't have to pay, but then other coaches have to pay. I would love to see that done consistently, especially when the boosters are paying so much money to reseed fields and to laser level fields and spending thousands of dollars when we have, teams coming in and using the fields, and then somehow it's the parents. It's almost like double taxation, because they have to now foot the money to repair district fields. And so I would love us to lock that down. Other than that, I don't have very much. Looking forward to see. I saw it was going to be like 80. Well, it was supposed to be 82 next week, and then now it's back up to 88. So God help all of our students, and hopefully the air does not break down.
Good evening, everybody. At last month's meeting, it was stated that there was a war on sports, and that I said I would not vote a dime on USI. And I would like to set the record straight. It is true that previously I said I would not support spending money on the program. However, last year, after hearing the commitment that the facility would be used to serve more high school students before and after school, I supported utilizing the equipment that had already been purchased rather than allowing it just to sit unused. In fact, I voted in favor of the athletics agreement on June 17, 2025 board meeting. It was agenda item 2318 on the consent calendar. I did not even pull the item for discussion, and it was approved unanimously by the board. My concern is that the expected level of student participation really never materialized during this last school year. Despite the commitment to expand access, Yorba Linda High School flag football team was the only high school team that regularly used the facility, and only 1 or 2 days per week. To be clear, El Dorado High School Wrestling has utilized the facility this summer, which is very encouraging. Given these facts, I do not believe it's accurate to characterize my position as a war on sports. My advocacy has consistently been for greater utilization of equipment that has already been purchased by students across all high schools. That includes football, wrestling, basketball, volleyball, baseball, softball, track and field, color guard, dance, cheer, and any other school program that wishes to participate. My goal has always been to ensure that the district-funded resources benefit as many students as possible. Tonight, again, all 5 of us voted in favor of this agreement. And my decision was based on the schedule that had been presented to the board, which I believe provides a more equitable and proportional amount of time for district students to utilize the facility in relation to the number of students who's being served. I also appreciate the commitment from the new administration to ensure that this facility is being used to its fullest potential for the benefit of our students. And I will continue to monitor the implementation and expect the district resources will be used to maximize opportunities for as many students as possible. And now on to the fun part of my report. I attended the leadership launch, and it was a great beginning to a new school year. There was so much energy and excitement in there, and I really enjoyed learning how to be a multiplier and not a diminisher. And I think as a district, it was really just refreshing how we can learn all how to lift each other and bring out the best of us. And I've already started listening to the book at home, and I got my hard copy tonight. So thank you, Dr. Kim. And also, I want to do a big shout out to everyone who made the day feel so special, from the music from Valencia Jazz Band, the yummy food, the raffle prizes. It was just a great start to the year. I also, last week, got to tour the Valencia Kitchen. I had the opportunity to tour it and see the progress being made, and it's very exciting to see this happening and being able to feed more students fresh-made meals at Valencia in a timely manner. And if you hadn't heard the good news, the state gave us permission to fund the project 100% out of our kitchen funds, so no developer fees, no general funds will be used. 100% will come out of the kitchen funds. And while I was there, they're like, do you want to see the gym? And I'm like, yes, of course I want to see the gym. And to see the floor, the new floor being put in, and the new bleachers, they were coming soon, but the floor looks beautiful. And it's going to be really nice, and it should be fully operational sometime in September, which is great news. And I'd just like to give out a special gratitude to all who worked so hard over the summer to get projects completed for our students: the roofing, the carpet, the painting, the fields replacing, the track refurbishments, the computers updated, the smart boards, the deep cleaning, and the list goes on and on. There was a lot of work happening this summer, and I'm very grateful to all that helped make that happen, and I'm really excited to welcome back our teachers and our students next week, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful year. Thank you.
All right. Well, as everyone stated, the leadership launch was a great way to start our new year. There was so many ideas being bounced around. As Marilyn said, the energy was great in the room. Everybody was excited, and it really helped kind of re-energize, I know, me, for myself, to really kick off this school year with some great data, some great insights, and just seeing everyone smile and have a vision to work towards. As we kick off the new school year, I'm excited for all that's ahead. Our shared commitment to students is what makes our district such a special place, and I'm always grateful for the support of all of our families, staff, volunteers, and community partners. This year, I plan to continue focusing on decisions that matter most, helping every student succeed while being responsible stewards of our district revenues and resources. I want every student to feel safe, supported, connected, and challenged to reach their full potential. Our incredible teachers, staff, and administrators make that possible every single day. Their dedication, along with the strong partnerships we have with families in our community, reminds us that we are truly rooted in connection. As we prepare students for the future, I plan to prioritize high-quality learning, safety, school safety, continuous improvement, and responsible decision-making. Together, we're ready for tomorrow and committed to creating opportunities that help every student thrive. I would like to thank everyone for the trust, encouragement, and support that you all bring our schools. I'm looking forward to visiting classrooms, celebrating student successes, and to connecting with our community throughout the school year. Being stronger together is what will help make this an amazing school year. I want to wish everyone a wonderful 26-27 year, and thank you again to all who made this possible with this quick turnaround this summer, and have all those classrooms ready to go next week. And the smell of, I was telling the girls, Marilyn earlier, of the smell of crayons, fresh crayons and pencils, and having a clean room when you walk in is just, it's undescribable. So I appreciate all who made that possible. So thank you.
The Marine Corps likes fresh crayons.
That's funny. Marine Corps and TK teachers.
Always good.
It really is a good combination. Well, kudos to you also for including our new strategic plan notes in there too. So I just want to say thank you to the staff for leadership launch too. It was very inspirational, even a little teary at times from the video that we saw, making sure that we're filling our students up, making them orange and not blue. Maybe that's why I wore orange today. I don't know. Maybe. tomorrow, or on Thursday, we have our in-service for North Orange County ROP. So in the morning, I'll be going over there and doing a similar thing that's led by their staff as well. So I'll report back. It's usually a really good event as well. Prop 3 is coming up. It has made its way to the ballot. So Dr. Papalardo, I did a little search, and when I looked at if Prop 3 doesn't pass, what will that implication mean to our district? And it looks like it's around $4.6 million. So I'm just flagging that for you. Would you mind doing a little research and bringing some more information back to us at the next meeting to see where we are with it and what that possibly could mean? I just want to say thank you to all the staff. As you drive around and look at schools, we had a shortened summer this year, and that means that everybody has to work twice as hard. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate all of the hard work you put in making sure our schools are up and ready to go. Excitement for the new students coming in, the students returning. It really is what one of our former superintendents used to say, the miracle of the first day, where it's just chaos everywhere in the morning, and then the bell rings, and just seconds later, the campuses are quiet, and kids are in their desks, and the learning begins. So I really am looking forward to hearing about that day and driving around and maybe popping into a few schools. And I'm looking forward to seating our new student board member at our next meeting. Wish they were able to be here today, but other commitments, and so we'll see them at our next board meeting. And thank you for the choir today. We are going to be having more students come to our meetings and showcase what they're doing. So I'm looking forward to that for the rest of the school year. That will be fantastic. And I'm definitely jealous of the kitchen tour. I want to sign up for one of those as well. And I guess that is it for me. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful last weekend, and a great new start of the school year. With that, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, and we adjourn at 8:05.